If I may, I think we can debate a lot of things. I think the point here is that the government is telling us through the president and the vice president and Levitt putting I Stand With ICE on all of the socials that they can kill us at any time and they can get away with it. Okay. And I think if we interfere with them while they're disappearing people off the street, if we don't like them kidnapping our neighbors, if we don't like them building concentration camps, if we film them while they're doing it, then we can't do anything about it. Because this is no longer the land of the free. And if you do something about it, they will lie about you, they will lie about who you were, and this is the point that they're trying to make right now.
We have this map that shows how the U.S. would be divided in the event of an emergency, if we can pull that out there. There it is. So this is how the U.S. will be divided into districts. You see 10 of them there. This is according to the National Emergency Center establishment. Can you describe what this map is? What exactly does that mean? I mean, it doesn't really make sense in terms of states as we know them. What is this classification system? What are the purposes?
It doesn't look like the map that you and I saw in elementary school.
Not at all.
Effectively, the U.S. has been cordoned off into these different districts, and so these new emergency centers will be spread out throughout the United States in most of these eventually. And it gives FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security jurisdiction over what goes on in these places during a time of emergency.
Okay, I want to go into because this act does make some specific examples, some exclusions, set some limitations, I should say. So the National Emergency Center Establishment Act, what it does not do, it does not authorize any federal officer or employee to force an individual to enter a national emergency center or prevent an individual from leaving a national emergency center. So, Bob, it looks to me like there are some safeguards there. If you don't like it, you can leave.
Well, I'd like to think so, and this was actually one of the other things that was changed in this new version of the bill. They added this, but if you read what they're saying, federal officer, federal employee, that doesn't cover members of the military, and since these are going to be installed in decommissioned and existing military bases, you're going to have people from the military there, so I would think they will have people, namely the military, who would be able to force people to stay there or prevent them from leaving if that is their what they want to do.
Now, for civil liberty advocates like yourself and others like you that are worried that this could be a precursor to government overreach, what would satisfy what would make you more comfortable with this piece of legislation, I guess? Do you think that the language in it should be clarified, that it's not so vague so that it could be interpreted and abused?
Ideally, it would be withdrawn, but if I were forced to live with it, I would want the restrictions on keeping people in there to extend to the military and, in fact, to anybody, not let the states or even local governments have that ability.
Okay. So we're talking about emergencies, we're talking about disasters, we're talking about chaotic situations where some order hopefully the goal there is to be established. And, some are going to say desperate times call for desperate measures. So doesn't that ring true for natural disasters and cases like that?
What do desperate people in the government do in those situations? Like I said, I think it's a slippery slope, and we don't really need people in power with these vast sweeping powers to begin with. Unfortunately, there's moral hazard involved here, too, where people really don't take care of themselves anymore, plan for these emergencies when they have the federal government and other governments ready to step in. And we saw what a great job happened in Sandy and in Katrina. So, like I said, moral hazard.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, Salakia, give me a second here.
Thanks very much for joining me. I wish I could cheer you up, but I can't. This is an unprecedented and dangerous moment in modern American history under a president who is increasingly
Hold on a sec. There we go. I turned that off, but Salakia. So Shalom, first and foremost, I'd like to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayath, the Dawada, the elect house of David that are scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. So that video you just watched was from the beloved brother Arrows of Indignation. So talking about FEMA camps, right? And the different FEMA regions. This, as we're talking about how America is broken up into 10 different regions. Okay? And this is going down here. It tells you, I'm just going to go through it real quick. It says Region 1, Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Vermont. Region 2, New Jersey, New York, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands. Region 3, Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, District of Columbia, West Virginia. Region 4, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, Carolina, South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Region 5, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio, Wisconsin. Region 6, Arkansas, Louisiana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Texas. Region 7, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska. Region 8, Colorado, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Utah, Wyoming. Region 9, Arizona, California, Hawaii, Nevada, Guam, American Samoa, Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, Republic of Marshall Islands, Federated States of Micronesia, and Region 10, Alaska, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. So these are the 10 regions. Of course, you can't see the other ones. Well, all right. So this is them right here. But yeah, so get a quick script here. This is going to be the book of Revelation, chapter 11. So verse 13. And it says, in the same hour there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven. Alright, so to break that down, that great earthquake is talking about when the ICBMs hit America, and the city is referring to America as well. Now the 10th part is referring to the 10 FEMA regions that divide America, as you can see on screen here. And the number 7,000 is just a number of completion. And it says when the remnant were affrighted. Okay? Now, when you go to affrighted, in the blue letter here, let me grab it real quick here on my other phone. Now, when you look at the word affrighted, you know, thrown into fear, terrified, okay? Because it's going to be a terrible time, man. The remnant, talking about the elect, they are going to be afraid. But they're going to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai because they know it's Him that's doing this. Okay? And the word affrighted goes back to Strong's G 1719. In fact, let me bring it up here. It's in the Greek.
Strong's G 1719. Emphabos.
Emphabos. So, to thrown into fear, terrified, afraid, or to tremble. Okay? Now, they were also talking about how because of these regions, they're going to have, you know, military checkpoints, which means that people aren't going to just be able to travel freely. And that goes into another scripture I'm about to bring out in the book of 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha. It's going to be chapter 15, verse 15. And it says, actually, Salakia. It's 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 17. And it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Okay? Meaning that people are going to want to travel. They're not going to be able to do so. And Trump already threatened about the Insurrection Act in Minnesota. Okay? He's threatening to declare martial law where the military takes over civil jurisdiction. And when that happens, it's going to be absolute hell for everybody. Your freedoms are going to be stripped from you. You know? More than likely, you won't... What am I saying? More than likely, you won't even be able to leave your house. And there's another thing, too, that I was looking up earlier that this whole thing with these different FEMA regions could play into. And it's a thing called Trump's Patriot Games. Refers to a proposed 4-day athletic competition for top high school athletes from each U.S. state and territory, announced by Donald Trump as part of the America 250 celebration of the nation's 250th birthday in 2026. The event emphasizes patriotism, discipline, and American youth talent, featuring separate divisions for male and female athletes, with some comparing the concept to the Hunger Games due to its focus on youth competition. And we've all seen the Hunger Games and how that plays out. And it says when scheduled for the fall of 2026 during America's 250th anniversary, who, the top male and female high school athlete from each state and territory. Why? To celebrate American youth, discipline, and patriotism as part of the American 250 initiative. Features will include separate competitions for male and female athletes, excluding the Transformer athletes in women's sports, and will be a major event alongside other festivities like a national mall, state fair, and a potential UFC event. So, they're going to pit teenagers against each other. A potential UFC is going to be a fight for their life. And it says here, administration, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is set to lead the games. So it says here in the context and comparison, the name and concept drew immediate comparisons to the Hunger Games due to its youth-focused state versus state nature, noted by figures like Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. It's one of several America 250 events planned to promote a specific vision of America identity and exceptionalism, including reviewing Smithsonian exhibits and planning a triumphal arc in D.C. It says here, will your team be selected? So, through the will and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, if this is something that happens, these movies, Esau Edom, he prophesies through his films. He tells you what's to come and what's going to happen. Through the movies like The Purge, Mad Max, and other TV series like The Walking Dead. And The Hunger Games is one of those films too. So, going back to these different regions and states, take a look. This right here is these different regions, districts. So, just keep this in mind, man. They're gonna basically make it a fight for survival with young men and women. Okay? So, the way this year is going, things are Jacob's trouble has started and it's already popping off, so we'll see what happens. Lord willing that, that I myself, as well as you sincere brothers and sisters that are in the know, that we be of the elect and we make it through this by being patient and using discernment and having this wisdom about us. So I just wanted to bring this out. Lord willing, it was edifying unto the elect and to the few sincere believers and listeners. And with closing, I'd like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. and unto the Bayath Adabada, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwame Asharala, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom, Barakatham.